Good morning, welcome to the Profit Point Show. And today will not be an exception. We're going to start with the stock market segment where we talk about the 5 top gainers of yesterday and then the 5 top losers. Then, of course, some earnings reports will also be discussed, and we will talk about the demutualization of the Nigerian Stock Exchange. Then over to the business segment where we talk about writing business plan and why you need it for your business. And also we'll go to the sectorial segments where we talk about fashion designing and how you can get into the business. All of this after the break. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Thank you. Welcome back to the Profit Point Show, and this is the stock market segment. I have in the studio Ambrose Omodion. Ambrose, how are you doing?
I'm fine.
Of course, Ambrose is an investment analyst from Invest Data Limited, and of course, a regular guest. Yeah. In fact, we should reclassify you as a guest. Top co-presenter. All right. Welcome on board.
Thank you.
So we begin by discussing the top gainers and losers of yesterday, top 5. On the gainers chart, we had Morrison Industry topping the gainers chart, gaining 9.72%, followed by Champions Brewery, then Nemet Pharmaceutical, then Mutual Benefit, and NACO. Then on the losers charts, we had CHL, Consolidated Allmark Insurance PLC, then Etana Oil, then Corn Oil, then NNFM, and Livestock topping the losers chart. So looking at this chart, just like last week, Thursday, the percentage loss were more than the percentage gain. So is the market still really down now?
Yeah, the market is still oscillating, but still trending down. But I think there's a sign of rebound is in sight already. Why? Because more earnings are hitting the market. That's why the market have not reacted to those that have hit the market before now. But there's a sign that market will bounce back very soon. One, because the factors that really supported the market are still intact, apart from liquidity that is being divided because of some fund going back to the fixed income. I will tell you that fixed income alone cannot put equity market down, because before now the two have been operating pari passu in the annual market. Because in 2017 market was about 48% high. Money fixed income market was having about 12-15% yield. But now there is still 5.5 at the last money treasury bill option that was offered. For me, it's not a threat to capital market to a level, but now because those non-risk takers that came out from their comfort zone because the rate was low, they've seen a little improvement in their market where they understand, they decide to go back to where they play. But I see that most of them also have gotten the idea that playing a balanced portfolio is better, because if you look at the yields of many quoted companies are even higher than the 1-year yield for Treasury bill, even for the bonds as we speak now. For example, when the bank released the result, their yield is about almost 11 point something. And even when they mark down the price, some PFAs are even taking advantage of the markdown to position ahead of the interim dividend already. For me, it's a balanced situation that I know very soon the market will also start looking up. And if the economy improves along the line, it will be a problem, because you can't separate the equity market from the economy. And I expect that as we have seen a better number in terms of economic data, that should also impact the market positively. For me, this correction should not panic a serious investor. So those novices that will be complaining, you know that market cannot continue in the uptrend, and market moved sharply in the last quarter of 2020. There are bound to be correction, and we're seeing the correction already. But it's for you to change your strategy. How can you take advantage of the correction to accumulate more position? This is not the time to have plenty of stocks or in your portfolio. Look at those few stocks that you know that the sector has potential to even overperform the market, and start positioning them than complaining. Only that have to change strategy. But people that understand the market, once the market is going up, everybody will be happy. See market coming down, people will complain. It's just for you to look at the market. All the stock, all the sector cannot be down at once.
All right, thank you very much, Ambrose. All right, we had some results that came in during the week, audited results. UBA 2020 audited result, gross earning was up by 10.83%. Profit after tax was also up by 27.7%, but dividend was cut down more than 50%. So the company declared 35 kobo for fine. Did they declare any interim dividend?
Yeah, they paid 17 kobo before now. That means a total of about 52 kobo for the year.
But even when
against 1 naira, they paid in 2019.
So more than 50% cut.
Yeah, no, around the 48% cut. But this 52 against 1 naira.
Oh, okay. Okay, so why did they cut it? Are they retaining profits for expansion, or there must be a reason? Because they actually made profit, their gross earning was up, their profit after tax was up. So I'm sure investors were probably expecting increase in dividend. Now they're saying 40% minimum decrease in dividend. So what do you think happened here?
If you look at the number itself, it's a mixed number because the top line was not up to 15%, but the bottom line was above, which is, I say mixed number because if you look at a really, a number that you say this number is, impressive and above, average, when you have grown your top line above 15% and your bottom line above 20%, which their bottom line was up above 20%. And also, this is the first time UBA is crossing almost 100 billion profit, about 113 billion profit. For me, it's a plus for them and good for the bank. But where market nearly reacted negative to their results is where they cut their dividend. And also, people that follow investors, I said that the dividend cut is bound to happen in 2021 because of the year 2020 was so unpredictable and people got into a lot of things, and it affected the economy, and also the banking sector being exposed to the economy because they are the engineering. When the economy is sick, banks, so just because our banks today are robust and they are solid, that's why we are not seeing much impact of the down recession or economy on the banks. Yeah, for me, the number is okay. It's a good one, welcome board. For me, investors should take it as, now that they are coming out to say they want to expand capacity, they are seeing opportunity in African country that this, as economy is recovering, it's opportunity for them to give credit to African countries and also Nigeria, so that in that giving the credit, they are building their capacity. They are going to make money for us. But only that they have, they kind of cheated investors by cutting the dividend. But now they think, oh, this cut is not just to keep it in our coffer, it's for us to drive our business, also expand the credit room for the bank, since we are in another African country, and there's an opportunity already in African countries that in the continent, where they can put this fund and to give them money for them. For me, it's okay for them, but I know that investors will number. But the good thing is that because the numbers are good. For example, now, if you look at the bank's book per share, it's about almost 20 naira, and they start selling below 10 naira. They see that there is value already because as market is oscillating, investors are moving to value investing and value and growth investing as we speak now, so they can protect their capital. They are seeing value that we can buy this stock and hold, because if my risk is low, because when you see your margin of safety is high, it's so that selling for 7 naira or 7 and 10 kobo, having a book value of almost 20 naira, your margin of safety is high. That means you can take position and hold. And going forward, because it's also in the financial sector, we know that the consistency there, you can also make capital appreciation and dividend. But that's why people stop selling. But on Monday, when they hit the market, on Tuesday, they lost 10% full. But yesterday, it went as low as 6 naira 85 kobo. That was the strong support level. It came back and closed up around 7 naira for yesterday. It tells you that the selling pressure has subsided, and that is good for UBA. And also their first quarter will come up any moment in April. And if first quarter look good, you see the price will bounce back gradually. But those that are in other banking stock are already panicking. If UBA can cut their dividend from others. But I told them, UBA has given you even insight when they cut their interim dividend from 20 kobo to 17 kobo. We've already that we're not expecting that the cut will be as much.
As
also we're also expecting that because others, first year banks in that in the financial sector do not cut their interim dividend, that UBA might make up the cut they do so that to maintain about. They went ahead to even cut their full year. That was a surprise. I see that all the bank stock as at Tuesday we are all looking down. And also it now coincided that day was the day also Zenith Bank Magna for dividend. But yesterday market just returned up a little, and people were saying, for me, it's not because of the news of the demonetization that just came to the market. It was just a coincidence that the news came, and also the high cap stocks that that kept the market up in 2020 gained yesterday. It's seriously gained yesterday, Dangote gained yesterday, the market will look up. And also these are the companies that just control about 70% of the market. And when they do any of these 4 stock or 5 stock, MTN, what's it called, Ete, Dangote, and Boa.
Okay, Boa.
When these 4 stock gain, it will also reflect on it. And now Dangote gained about 3.20%, the market was up. It's not because of the news about the news will be better thing for the market going forward, and also the dividend yield in the market was also becoming attractive because prices have been on a pullback for a while. That attraction is what people are taking. Let's advantage of this low price to position in those dividend paying stock because the market capitalization is a bit slow now because market is not looking up, but you can get good dividend yield in some stock. That's why people are still positioning in those dividend paying stock that they are sure of dividend because the one that came, their dividend payout was not bad. If you look at it, the one that came from the Dangote Sugar payout was good. The one that came from the Cine Bank was good. Only that of what's it called, National Salt, that was flat 40 people they paid last year. Even that one that came, there is increment apart from this UBA. The first one, UBA and the Africa Prudential. The first one to cut, the second one to cut dividend for this year now. That means unexpectedly. Even that of Africa Prudential was a shock. UBA was a shock. I didn't expect it. When we saw what UCAP did, every investor know that, oh, this is Lumelu family stocks or companies like UCAP, Africa Prudential, UBA. Seeing UCAP 70 people, we're thinking that the payout from others will be attractive who were jumping into other what they were aware that Africa Prudential cut their dividend, and when market is done like this, dividend income as to investors or pensioners to look at where there's high dividend yield and position.
All right, thank you, Ambrose. All right, let's go over to Seplat's 2020 audited result. Meanwhile, when is GTB results coming?
Any moment from now.
Okay, good. I look forward to that. Seplat 2020 audited result. Revenue was down by 10.85%. Expected.
Yeah.
Profit after tax was down by 136.12%. That's expected, right?
Yeah.
Oil and gas, 2020.
For 2020, they were bleeding.
We were bleeding. So,
but the good thing is that the Seplat with the red numbers we are seeing, they are still posting. They are still paying dividend to shareholders.
How much are they?
It's about 3 cents. They pay in dollar. That's about 5 to 7 naira or thereabout, which is also good for them because consistently, even during the bad year 2020, they are still paying their quarterly interim dividend in dollars, which is which is okay for me. They will understand that there's a potential for them to bounce back in 2021 as crude oil price is rising. Not only that, the companies also diversifying into gas. That alone will expect that to boost their performance. That's why I said a similar company in that sector that we should look at is the one that trust is always a problem. But I still tell you, but I still tell you that there's still potential in that stock to rally. That means if you're a risk taker, you can still be eyeing that stock.
I am tired of having potential. Rwanda has been that stock that's been selling potentials for years. Yeah. No, I want reality. So maybe you are still believing them. No. Rwanda is not topping my own list. Okay.
Well, it should be for those that are risk takers and those traders. If you are not a dividend, player in the market, because you are not expecting dividend from them. But if you're one of them that look at price appreciation, taking advantage and wait for a while, the stock might surprise the market when they actually resolve their issue with SEC. And I know that they will do that quickly because they too, they are eager to come to the market to raise funds. And for that, you need to say, without your shareholder approving your raising for you, it's not possible that you come to the market. That means,
are you not worried that they are trying to turn a new leaf because they want to raise money? No. I'm always skeptical when a company wants to raise fund, they begin to seem to turn a new leaf. No,
actually, not that because they want to do it. When there's potential opportunity in your sector and you are not taking advantage of it because either there's one thing that's standing as a barrier or as a hindrance, you need to sort it out now. Because they are saying that, crude oil price, rebounding, and at the same time, they have a gas business already on ground approved by the government. They need to get approval from the shareholders to let them get additional funds in any way they want. Either they want to do bond or they need to approve of the shareholders. You can't go ahead. That's why they are now they want to go for peace.
Let's hope so. I keep my fingers crossed. Yes, all right, let's talk briefly about the demutualization of the Nigerian Stock Exchange. For starters, what's this about? Because there's been rumor for a while.
No, it has been
demutualized. Okay, now that's been approved, right? So what is this? What does it mean, demutualized, and why should an average investor be concerned about that?
No, before now it has been operating like a non-profit organization, also as a self-regulator. But now going to demutualization, that means they want to make their share become public in the process, and also for now, those that are holders before now are not going to benefit immediately. That now they are SEC and corporate affairs has approved the demutualization. Means those companies become now a public company, not private. Before it was just like private, non-profit organization, but now it has to be profit-making company to pay dividends as others that are listed. And also, not only that, they have come with different structure, kind of having a different names for different activities, which is good for them to be able to monitor, because now you are becoming public or hotel company, you also to be active to live by standard, or live by example, sorry, because if you are not regulating those that are operating, people also be watching at your back to see what you are doing. For me, it's a good economic development, because that also frees some funds that are all hanging for a long time, especially the stockbroking firm that operate, as listed as a member, they've invested more on that platform. Now they are becoming a public company. They can easily now be trading their own holding, because now they have become, they have to give you each stockbroking firm your holding. If you're having 6 billion or 6 million shares, they will give to you. If you decide to sell it to expand your own operation, to play the market big, that also free fund and make the market become more liquid, because anywhere in the market, the world, liquidity is key. It's a key fundamental for market activities. If fund is coming through that way, for me, it's a plus for the market.
All right, you're looking at it from the funding part. And I raised this before we came on here, like, the regulator is playing the same field as the regulated. So who is going to regulate the regulator? I think you said SEC.
Yeah. Before now, they are self-regulator, but SEC look, they are both the apex regulator of the investment world in Nigeria, anywhere in the world too. At the same time, now that they are becoming like a public and going to be traded on the exchange, SEC also open their eyes to regulate more. But they too, they have regulating bodies within the organization, within the structure they are coming out with now, because they have different structure, both listed all those separated with one operating officer or MD for different sub-companies. For me, it's a record regulation that it now become more transparent for activities to be monitored. I see that as a potential for the market too. But for those that you don't answer, your answer is that SEC remain the apex regulator to regulate NSC. And also that's why you have to wait for SEC to approve before they cannot finalize.
So SEC has not approved?
I've approved now. That's why they come there. SEC and what's it called? Corporate Affairs approved yesterday, and that now become fully a public company.
I really wish there was another body aside from SEC, because SEC, NSC, they're just siblings as far as I'm concerned.
No.
Yeah, really. How much regulation can SEC actually? There's a difference between when on paper I'm the one regulating you, and in real life I'm actually regulating you. If you look at the past, how much of regulation a SEC had, the influence SEC had on Nigerian Stock Exchange. Now Nigerian Stock Exchange is trading its own share on the same platform. It's just, maybe because it's a Nigerian thing, I just wish there was another regulator aside SEC that can actually regulate Nigerian Stock Exchange, not just SEC and CAC.
No, Nigerian Stock Exchange is to regulate operators, those what's it called, the stockbroking firms. They regulate, they look at their book, do surveillance on them. But SEC is the apex regulator of anything investment. For me, NSC is still under SEC. That's why SEC has to approve for them. There's no cause for fear or any suspect for now. Let's give them hand to operate and see, because after 6 years of operating as a non-profit organization on a closed door, now they want to open your door to the public. For me, it's a good one, so that they can drive the exchange. And let's see competition in Africa. For us to stand and say we are the leader in Africa, we need an active exchange that we know where there's somebody will be. No, let's have people to come with different idea. Because if I'm a shareholder in an exchange and I have idea, we'll go to the public.
So where do the money they're going to be paying to shareholders, where are they going to be getting it from? The dividend. So aside from penalties that they're going to be charging, the same regulated, that they are playing now they're going to be playing the same platform.
No, I see that even before now they have source of revenue for them or source of income for them. Or now they are becoming also, as you just said, they have to do other things. Either they are going to training, training of the market, they have to do more education, and they have to start charging. They do charge it before now. That is another way of raising funds. For me, let's give them opportunity to operate first. Let them not say, oh, how do they go to? I see opportunity for them to raise money is there, to make money, is there. And also, now they know that they are on their own to drive profit. They will think outside the box. But we are waiting for approval for somewhere, whether they give SEC or give some to them. No, this time we have to look at how can we generate from. The stockbroking firm also have to be active, because if there's activities that are doing more transaction, it comes because there's always a cut of the transaction fee that comes to NSC. It's another answer. But if the market is doing well, we have more players. their income will increase. They have to go and drive, bringing more people to the market. They have a lot of work, because if you are doing education, you are attracting people, that will also boost your transaction. You get more money from that. Than sitting back and say, no, because before, for us to have about just 168 listed company, for me, it's still not, we're not started.
And we haven't many delisting.
Yeah, thank you. And also, like US, they have more than 12,000 stock listed. We are not talking about just 168 stock listed. And we need to do more. And some sectors need to be represented on their exchange. You need to go out and market them. As they come with their listing fee, post-listing fees. All those ones also boost activity. Don't for them to wake up and do a lot of work now. I think.
Okay. All right. We keep our fingers crossed.
Yes, but there's still potential. It's also good. The good thing is that, I said, the liquidity they are bringing into the market is a plus, because if we are seeing that because market are rally, people that came from fixed income market are like going back to their shares, let them be fun from coming from that angle. It's a plus for the market.
Thank you very much, Ambrose. Then we'll be here and we see how far you go.
Yes.
All right, so wish them good luck. This brings us to the end of the stock market segment. We go on break, and when we return, we go to the sectorial segment where we talk about fashion, designing, business, and what you need to know in case you want to get into it. All of this after the break. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thank you. Welcome back to the Profit Point Show, and this is a sectorial segment. We're talking about fashion design business, and I have in the studio Mrs. Victoria Oladipo, a fashion designer. Good morning, welcome on board. Thanks for coming.
Good morning.
All right.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. All right, so let's first begin by breaking down what fashion design in business, what it entails.
Thank you very much. Fashion designing as a business, we can say that is fashionpreneurship.
Okay.
It has gone beyond just cutting and sewing on fabric. Now you have to start with the style illustration, having a picture of what you want to draft in mind, having your own design. That is called style illustration. Then we move to pattern drafting. That is drafting on a paper or on something. Before you now move it to your fabric, we have to still talk about fabric selection,
okay,
color selection and combining colors. And then we can now talk about cutting and sewing, which is the final stage. So fashion designing is a business. It is a process of creating a picture you have in mind to a physical feature that you can see to fit into a particular figure you want it to be. And at the end of the day, making money with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So if, for instance, someone wants to go into fashion design business, you mentioned sketching of design to pattern making, then to
fabric selection.
Do you have to know everything, or can you get someone that maybe knows pattern making? You sketch, someone does, or I mean, do I need to know everything before going into it?
Yes, you have to know everything, at least in a bit of everything.
Okay.
And thanks to the social media now, everything is online. As somebody that is learning and wants to go into it, you still need to know a little of everything. Because if you can cut and sew, it will be fine. But for you to know the pattern drafting part, it will be much more better. And it will make your work come out well. So there is a need to know at least a little of every aspect of fashion designing to do well in it.
In the business, all right, thank you. All right, let's talk about other resources needed, starting from the training, the location, staffing, equipment, finance. So I want to start a business. What do I need?
Yes, to start a fashion designing business, first things first, I used to tell people, you have to be passionate about it. Your passion has to be there because that is what will keep you going on. That is what will keep driving you. And then talking about training, it is very, very important in fashion designing. You have to learn the nitty-gritty of fashion designing from the beginning. And to do that, it is not simple. It's not simple. So you have to go in and learn all you need to know about fashion designing, like all the aspects I mentioned the other time, starting from the style illustration to pattern drafting to selection of your fabric, colors, cutting and sewing, and everything to the last part. So there is need to know at least a little of every part of this aspect to be a successful fashion designer. Yes, we have people out there, roadside tailors, that okay, they will just cut and sew, but for you to stand out in the fashion industry, there is a need for you to know at least a little of all the aspects.
I like what you called it. You said roadside tailors.
Yeah,
so
roadside.
Is there a difference between a tailor and a fashion designer? Or is it the fact that they're on the roadside that makes them a tailor?
We don't call them tailors because they are on the roadside.
Okay.
I am a tailor too.
Okay.
The word fashion designing is more encompassing. It's wider. It's not just the cutting and sewing, but for a tailor, it could be just for the cutting and sewing to fit. But the word fashion designing is just all encompassing. It's the whole package of the business itself and how you market it to the world, how you create your design, you do it well, you market it to the world. But for the roadside tailor, they will just like, okay, I want to make this. They get to their table, pick their fabrics, they cut and they sew. Yes, they are doing well, but you cannot compare their results to what you will have with somebody who works as a professional fashion designer.
Okay, all right, thank you. So what impact does location, for instance, what impact does that play?
Yes, location plays a very huge impact in the fashion designing business. For instance, if you are located in an area that is not that exposed, maybe a remote area, you would attract the people around there. But if you are out there and you are in a space that is well known, you will attract the people that are there. Also talking about location, I used to say this, there is something very beautiful about this job that when you wear what you sew, you would attract clients automatically. So even if you are sewing from your closet and you get out there, you market to the world, you get on social media, you snap good pictures, paste on social media platforms and tell people this is what you do, they are going to come for it. So the location thing per se is really not affecting marketability of the business.
Okay.
It's just that if you choose to just say, okay, this is my shop, this is what I do, and you get it space in a remote place, somewhere that is not out there, people won't know what you do. Therefore, they won't come for it.
That's true. All right, so I've gone for training,
Yeah.
I've chosen my location, or let's just hold location as fixed.
Yeah.
How much do I need? Or let's start with what do I need equipment-wise to start? Because it's based on what you need that will dictate how much you need to spend.
Yeah. Thank you very much for that question. I tell people that come around that, see, you don't need the whole world to start a fashion designing business. The business is so creative in such a way that you can start with one single blackhead machine, one single table, one single inner weaving machine, and with that you grow organically. Now, it is good to start small and grow big in fashion designing. I see people go out there, okay, I want to do this business, and they go out for loans. At the end of the day, they end up crashing. This business is such that once you start with what you have, the little you have, for everybody going for the training, at least you have at the back of your mind that, okay, I'm going to get a sewing machine, beautiful. With that, you can start. I started in my closet. With that, you can start. And once you start making what you wear, people will start saying you. From there, they will buy into your business and you start growing. By the time you start growing, you get more machines, you get industrials, you get the things you need, and you grow big. So talking about funds needed, you can start from your barest minimum. From whatever you have, you can start.
So far you can get the machine?
Yes.
And the table?
Yes.
Iron, of course.
Yes, iron, scissors, staple, all those many things. You can just start. You don't have to wait until you have millions to start fashion designing as a business.
Okay, so let's go to the marketing aspect. Of course, thank God for social media. Thank God, more especially for Instagram.
Yeah, Instagram.
Okay. So, from your own experience, how have you been able to use social media, for instance, to actually drive customers to your business?
Thank you very much. Most of my trainees got to know us from the social media. That is Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp. And when they see our post, they were like, okay, what do they do? Let's go. And that is how they start coming. When we make clothes, we post pictures on social media, and it has really, really built my page. It has really, really gotten me more friends, more likes on the social media. So the use of social media is a very, very important aspect of marketing when you talk about fashion designing as a business. You can't make beautiful dresses, you can't do beautiful designs and just keep them there without posting it out there. One day somewhere, somebody will see it and call for you. And even before you know it, you keep asking, how do you get to know us? At the end of the day, they tell you, okay, we saw your page, we went for your page, and we are able to get this. Okay. So that is how it works. It works so good. It works so good.
Okay, I've been opportune to speak with many fashion designers, and one of the greatest challenges you mentioned is tailor management. Tailor management, they come today, they vanish tomorrow. You know, do you have such challenge? And if you actually do, how have you been able to manage your tailors over time?
Okay, if I get to you very well, you are talking about stylists. The people that work with you?
Yes,
okay.
Tailors. Now, some of those fashion designers are not the people that actually sew this clothes.
Yeah.
So they have a lot of customers.
Yeah.
So you have tailors.
Fashion stylists. Yeah. Thank you very much. Talking about that is a challenge. But for us, God has really, really helped us that we make them know that, okay, this is what we have to do. And when they come in, we have an agreement of minimum of a year with them. You are going to stay with us for 12 months, and after 12 months you can now decide, okay, you still want to stay. So while that is ending, we sort out for another one, and before you know it, we started having 2, 3, 4.
Okay.
That is how God has helped us to tackle that aspect. Initially, we had issues too. They come today and tomorrow, when they are good, and they tell you, okay, I have to leave, and you do not have a choice. But later, we just got the wisdom of, okay, let's have an agreement. You stay with us a year, and after a year, you are good to go. So, like that. And if they choose to go, if at the end of the day, they choose to go, we have like 2, 3 that can always stand in to do the job before we get another.
Okay.
So that is how it works.
At least I got ensure that you have spare.
Yes.
In case anyone decides to leave.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. So, you already said funding, people don't need to. So you don't recommend starters to go for funding, to go for a loan?
To go for loan. To go for loan. If you need to sort for fund, there are ways you can still do that. Number 1, your savings. Number 2, you can still talk to families and friends. You can still talk to people around you to support your business. And if you still really have to, there's this GTB fashion industry loan I know about that is okay. And then there's this Zenith Woman loan thing that is out there. that is okay too. The interest is not too much that it will be choking. So with that, you can still build your business to a point where you can repay your loan and you have all to yourself.
Thank you. All right, so let's talk of pricing.
Okay.
I've seen some clothes on Instagram, and I'll see price like 60,000, and I'm like, okay, really, people, it's not saying 60,000 is a lot to buy clothes, don't get me wrong, but when you see the clothes, I keep wondering, how did they arrive at this kind of pricing? Right? So from a fashion designer point of view, if you were to advise somebody that's going into the business, what kind of advice would you give to setting your price in the world of so many fashion designers online, even though we are not sewing the same style? But how do you set your price so that you won't be too high or too low?
Okay, thank you very much. When we say prices as such, people give value for your money. For people to charge you 60,000 for a dress, they have worked to that level. Okay. I tell you, and if you see the dress, you will know, yes, this is worth it. But for a fashionpreneur just coming up and you want to set 60,000, that will be too much on a high side. Yes, you have the value for it, but number one, to make a name, to make people know, okay, this is what I do, you have to bring down your price so that at least they can buy one, buy the second time. By the time they buy the third time, they know, oh, this is beautiful. So for me, too much pricing is not too good for starters. Just make sure you have a profit. When you have a profit, profit is not the in thing as a starter. Once you have what you use to produce that, then you can just go 30% on it and just add it. Okay. So going too extravagant, you cannot do bad business twice. Once they come today, tomorrow they'll start telling the whole world, she's too expensive, that brand is too expensive, and they will not come again. But once you go soft with them and with time, you build your brand, you build your brand, you build your brand. Even if you mention 100,000, people will come for it because they know the quality of what they are getting.
That's interesting. All right. How long have you been into this business?
Yeah, officially 6 years.
6 years. Unofficially?
What does that mean? Yes. Officially, I mean, when I opened my shop, that was in 2014. Okay. So we were 6 in December last year. Okay. And I started from my closet, like I said. So while I was training, I was still sewing from my closet. I was making money from my closet before I launched out. Okay. So that is what I mean officially.
All right. So given the 6 years that you've been on officially, what are the 3 pitfalls that you advise new fashion designers that want to go into the business to avoid?
Thank you very much. I would advise, first things first, punctuality, they say, is the root of every business. Punctuality is the root of every business. You see people open their stores 11, 12, all in the name of the fact that they are the boss. So punctuality. Don't go to work late. When a client comes today, they come tomorrow, you are not there. They will not come again. So that has been a factor that is affecting a lot of people. Then number 2, I would say, try and create your own styles. Create your own styles, be creative, be passionate about your idea and work with it. Don't just look at, okay, copy this, copy that. Even if you have to copy from anybody, be original, add something, remove something, and let it look like, okay, this is my thing. And then number 3, don't charge too much.
That's relative though.
Don't charge too much. You know, when they come, when they will pay, they will not complain, but they will not come again. Don't charge too much.
Thank you very much. Thanks, and thanks for coming on the show, right?
You're welcome.
All right. This brings us to the end of the sector segment, and we go on break. When we return, we go to the business segment where we talk about business plan and why you need it for your business. After the break, stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. It's to the business, it's to the Profit Points show, and this is the business segment. We're talking about business plan. And I have in the studio a business consultant, Mr. Ayodele Yusuf. Good morning, sir. Thanks for coming on board.
Good morning.
All right. So, a lot of books recommends that when anyone wants to go into business, you should first of all have a business plan.
Yeah.
So let's talk about what a business plan is and what it actually entails.
Okay. Simply put, business plan is a formal document.
Okay.
Containing some projected goals of a particular business. The plan towards which the goals are to be achieved, then and the time frame within which the goals must be met.
Okay.
That is the simple meaning of business plan.
Okay. So where we're going,
Now,
what we need to achieve it, and when we need to
some
achieve
set
it.
of goals,
Okay.
what to do to achieve them, and when are they to be achieved.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
that is the clear, simple interpretation of what a
business plan.
entails.
Okay. So should it be flexible or rigid? What I'm saying that is a lot of times before we start a business, we have idea of where we're going, we've written it down, what we need when. But then when you start and you see that things are not what we thought when we began. Are we allowed to edit, or we must just make sure that it is what we've written down that we follow?
Well, in business planning, technically, there is nothing rigid about it.
Okay.
Yes. But the simple thing is actually just that even if you want to be editing them or reviewing them with time intervals, you need to be wary of certain things. It must be backed with some set of principles. For instance, as a principled individual, for instance, there is no way you can just accept everything. You have to screen certain things.
Okay.
So that is what business plan does. So when it comes to the level of you must have come across some businesses. They may have a particular thing or a particular area of business, but on the long run, perhaps there is a danger or a kind of a threat to that line of business. Then they change and diversify. For instance, look at what the issue of COVID-19 pandemic does to so many businesses. So what majority of people that are very smart and intelligent does with their businesses was that they look for possible avenue to diversify. So that is to tell you that you can actually review or adjust a particular business plan. Mind you, whatever thing that you have documented ahead of time, in implementing them, certain things may change. For instance, prices of certain elements in the business plan. For instance, when you talk about maybe cost of certain things, just like let's take a cue from the fashion person that just talked, that you're buying a sewing machine, for instance. I think about, was it not December, November last year, a black-head sewing machine was actually being sold around 30,000 or 30-something thousand. Okay. But when you talk about it now, it's about 45, 50,000, even 55. So look at that. If business plan is actually not flexible to be adjusted to accommodate such, in fact, sometimes changes in certain things, maybe pricing of certain business principles, can actually make you to change your business online.
Okay.
For instance, somebody that actually procured a particular business loan with the intention of setting up a fashion stable, and on the long run, the person got to realize the fact that, oh, this money will not be sufficient for this thing due to maybe unexpected hike in prices of certain things. So the person can actually be like, oh, supposing me to go this way, there is this particular business that I can easily just put my money on and get immediate gain, a more profitable one, rather than be fighting with a kind of unclear situation.
Okay, I understand. All right, so when writing business plan, should it be just the owner that should sit down and write? Because if you're writing, you're going to be writing based on your own knowledge, or can it be outsourced? Because I've read somewhere where they say if you can't write it, give it out to somebody to outsource for you, to do it for you.
Yeah.
But my challenge is, how will somebody do it for you when the person is not you? Or should it be a collaborative, like a group thing?
It actually is. That's not difficult in business anyway.
Okay.
That is why you see business experts. For instance, in my case, I think I've actually took up certain responsibilities on certain businesses. They are not mine. But what I am to do is to establish the businesses for their owners, respective owners.
Okay.
So what we do in that case is that there are prerequisites to that. The person that wants to go into the business, having identified a particular interest of his or her, that, oh, this is the kind of business I want to do, we have to bring around the person, profile him or her, assess him or her based on certain principle of business. Okay. But if it is in the case of somebody who wants to own the business and is the person that wants to write the business plan, him or herself, so what we do in that case is even such a person too needs some profiling and certain assessment before they can actually move ahead with it. For instance, there is what we call behavioral traits.
What's that?
Behavioral traits of individuals. These are important things that play out on businesses that people do.
Can you explain more on that?
For instance, when we were trained in business, we were made to realize the fact that when you see an ordinary hawker, maybe somebody that is hawking all these petty things that we normally do see around, you must be able to look at the person, bring down the tray on the person, then assess the person both psychologically and you study the behavioral trait of the person, then such that you are able to figure out a matching business for such person's profile, and on the long run you transform such a person into a or let me say a viable business venture.
Okay.
Meaning that if somebody must actually go into business, the basic things are, one, there are, okay, for instance, there are certain things to be done internally. We know about some principle of business that we call, one of which we call SWOT analysis, SWOT.
Yeah. Strength, weakness, opportunity, threats. Okay.
The strength and the weakness are internal factors that are domiciled in the person to do a business.
Okay.
And as a result, those are the key things we need to first of all examine. What are the strength area of this person? Okay, he likes to make noise around. Oh, making noise will be a lucrative business around maybe PR or anything that has to do with communication.
Okay.
This person is a lazy type of individual. Oh, this kind of a person will then be good at maybe trading or probably dealing with some comforting apparatus or tools. For instance, majority of females nowadays that are into all these kitchen utensils and majority of other domestic appliances, some of them pick up the inspiration because they find it difficult to do some domestic chores, and as a result, a weakness became a strength.
Okay.
So, a whole lot of things in that regard.
So that means if you want to write a business plan, you first have to assess who you are.
There is what we call counseling, business counseling. Those are the fundamentals and we have to consider. So they will counsel the person. That is where they will do psychological assessment, because we need to know the state of mind of the person that wants to run a business.
Okay.
For instance, somebody with too much intention of I will be duped may find it difficult to run a business. And mind you, we need to understand the fact that not everybody can actually run business. In some cases, when we profile people, we can actually just think of establishing a business and just bring those people around to work there. There are some people like that. They would not be able to run it themselves. And that is why in a situation whereby such individuals have financial powers, so they can actually put money down while we try to, establish a business on their behalf, and we have administrators that will be running the business. They will just be somewhere expecting their profits, and that is just it.
Interesting. All right. business plan, should it be, because you're talking about everything that entails what the business will be, right?
Okay.
Should it be summarized or must it be comprehensive? Because some people might feel like, based on this, where do I want to begin to write what I've not even experienced?
Okay.
Must it be summarized or can it be comprehensive?
Well, business plan is actually not really a difficult thing, but sounding like that may actually be because I'm actually familiar with the. So I understand many people are actually looking at it like something uneasy to near, or probably something that one cannot come by easily. No, it is easy. But the basic thing, there's a particular component of business plan that is the most important. It is called executive summary.
Okay.
When you talk about executive summary in the business plan, generally in business, there is what we call elevator speech. Elevator speech is a short clip, a video clip, like 30 to 60-second video clip, telling about somebody's business idea to his or her potential investors.
Okay.
What we do with this is that that person will only summarize what is contained in the executive summary of the business plan. As a matter of fact, majority of investors, they do not have the time to read the entire content of a business plan. Okay. As a result, the most important part of it is the executive summary.
Okay.
So that executive summary will have picked bits in different aspects of a business plan. For instance, it will talk about the mission, about the vision, the mission, the short-term and long-term goals of the business. It will talk about the personnel of the business. It will talk about the promoter's profile. It will talk about, what do they call it? Marketing plan. It will talk about organization, then it will talk about financial forecast.
Okay. So it's not necessary for it to be comprehensive. So far you can get all your thoughts together, no matter how summarized it may be.
Of course.
So far you can get it in, it doesn't have to be comprehensive. That's just what I need to know.
It doesn't have to be comprehensive.
I'm asking, does it have to be full, like write everything down?
Businesses, let me say this again, different businesses have or attract different types of business plans. Okay. For instance, if you are actually going into a business that is kind of really serious, you may have to have a really detailed document.
Okay.
Yeah. Talking about fashion, something or what have you, for instance, your business plan may not be more than, just say, 2-3 pages. Aha.
No problem. Thank you very much, Mr. Yusuf.
You're welcome.
All right, thanks for coming also.
Thank you.
All right, this brings us to the end of today's episode Profits Point Show. The show returns same time next week, Thursday, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. same station, OGTV. Thank you very much for watching. Remain safe and enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye.
ni maturara